Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
We'll continue to read.
Can I read?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes one becomes attracted to Krishna and his transcendental qualities simply by looking upon the beautiful features of his transcendental body. In this case, also, one abandons the desire of liberation and engages in his devotional service. The devotee repents his loss of time in the so-called cultivation of knowledge and becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. There are two kinds of souls who are liberated even while in the material bodies. The soul liberated by devotional service and the soul liberated by the cultivation of knowledge. The liberated soul in devotional service, attracted by transcendental qualities of Krishna, becomes more and more elevated, whereas those who engage in dry speculation and simply cultivate knowledge without devotion fall on account of their many offenses. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2.32, where it is stated, Ye naveen taksha vimukta maninas tavya astha bhavad avishuddha buddhaya arudhya kracharne param padmam tata patanti adho nadrata yushmad angra. Yeah. O Lord, the intelligence of those who think themselves liberated, but who are without even a touch of devotional service, is not pure, even though they rise to the highest point of liberation by dint of penances, and austerity, they are sure to fall down again into this material existence, for they do not take shelter at your lotus feet. Lord Krishna confirms this in the Bhagavad Gita 18.54. Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma Na Sachiti Na Kankshati Shama Sarvaveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labhete Param. One who is actually situated in the Brahman realization is fully joyful, has no reason to lament or desire anything, and is equal to everyone. Thus, he is eligible for pure devotional service. This was illustrated by Bilava Mangala Thakur, who is his later life wrote, I was situated as a monist in order to become one with the Supreme, but somehow or other I contacted a naughty boy and became became his eternal servitor. In other words, those who attain self-realization by the execution of devotional service attain a transcendental body, and being attracted to the transcendental qualities of Krishna, engage fully in pure devotional service.
So Lord Chaitanya is trying to explain that there are two types of Jivan Mukta. That even while they are inside the body, they are liberated. So that's why it's called Jivan Mukta, inside the body but liberated. One is liberated by engaging in devotional service, and another is liberated by a process of Gyan, speculation, not in devotional service, but by understanding, oh, I'm spirit, not matter. That's very difficult process. But anyway, one can reach to that position. But what happens is that that's the highest understanding that one can reach. I am spirit, soul, not matter. And because there is no further understanding, there's no further knowledge, and that's not a permanent position, such a person keeps on falling down then after this progress they have made, which is so difficult to come to. But whereas a devotee, because he has surrendered to Krishna, he's engaging in devotional service, he keeps on progressing more and more. He goes from liberation to the point of getting attached to Krishna. He's gotten the taste for hearing and chanting. He's getting the emotions with Krishna. Then he gets love of Krishna. Like this, his spiritual body is evolving and he can go to the spiritual world. And this evidence is also given in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, Text 32. So by following the path of Gyan, one can get liberated, but because one has not surrendered to Krishna, that kind of liberation is just for a short time, and one will surely fall down from that position, even though it's a position of liberation, because the soul cannot be on that platform for very long. Maybe it could be a couple of millions of years, but still it's a temporary position. And Krishna, of course, says that pure devotional service begins from the liberated platform. So one who is engaging in bhakti, when he's completely understood his spiritual position, then he engages in pure devotional service. So means for one who is taking up devotional service, for him bhakti is going to, for him mukti is going to come. It's going to happen. I was just reading Brihad Bhagavatamrita by Sanatana Gosvāmī, where he's saying that mukti is taking shelter of bhakti. Because mukti is saying the Vaishnavas don't need me. The Vaishnavas, one day or the other, they know they are going to get liberation, and even more, say they don't want me, they don't care for me. And so she's taking shelter of prema bhakti, of love of Krishna. And Bilva Mangal Thakur, one great devotee of the Lord. Very great devotee. He said, earlier I was wanting to become one with the Lord, means I wanted to merge into the light and then become the Supreme Lord. But he got attracted to Krishna. He says, somehow or the other, I contacted a naughty boy. And what did he do? He became his eternal servitor. So that's a much higher platform, pure devotional service. Much higher platform than devotion, just simply liberation. So one who is engaged in pure devotional service will get a spiritual body, transcendental body, that's fit to stay in the spiritual world. Okay. So what happens is, by hearing and chanting, our natural attraction for Krishna gets revived, gets aroused. Because the soul is naturally attracted to Krishna, but we just need that, what do you say, the right thing to invoke it, and the way to invoke is to hear and chant about Krishna, and the attraction will be revived. Continuing.
Anyone who is not attracted to Krishna is understood to be still under the spell of Maya. but one who is attempting to be liberated by the process of devotional service is actually liberated from his spell. In the 11th canto, the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many instances recorded of devotees who became liberated in this life simply by engaging in devotional service.
So Prabhupada is adding that one who's not attracted is in Maya, but one who's even attempting to engage in pure devotional service, such a person is actually liberated, because it's just a matter of time then. So even an attempt to engage in pure devotional service is liberation. It's going to happen. Just continue to engage in devotional service. Just continue to hear and chant.
Okay. Chapter 16, Conclusion of Teachings to Sanatana Goswami. Persons who cultivate knowledge for liberation are three kinds: those who simply desire liberation, those who are liberated already, even while in this material existence, and those who are actually self-realized. There are many persons in this world who desire liberation, and sometimes they engage in devotional service for this purpose. It is corroborated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.26 that those who actually desire liberation give up all kinds of demigod worship and without envy concentrate their minds in the worship of Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When such persons come in contact with a pure devotee, they engage in the devotional service of Krishna and give up the idea of liberation. A verse in the Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya states, Aho Mahatman Bahuddosa Dosto Ekna Bhati Esa Bhavo Gunyena Shat Shang Makhena Ashukhav Hena Shrutya no Yena Krisha Momoksha. O great soul, although there are many flaws within his miserable life, there is yet one glory, the association of pure devotees. Cultivate such association, by it our desire for liberation diminishes.
So then here Lord Caitanya is continuing his teachings to Sanatana Goswami and saying that people who desire liberation, three kinds. One, are they simply desiring liberation? One who are already liberated, like they've already understood, I'm not this body, I'm the soul. One is who's trying to understand, one who wants to be situated on the platform of the soul. One who is understanding that, okay, I'm not the body, I'm the soul. And one who's actually self-realized, actually understood. And so then, gradually, those who desire liberation may come to Krishna. Krishna says himself in Bhagavad Gita, 4 types of people come to me. Those who are seeking knowledge also come to me. So one may desire liberation and come to Krishna for the purpose of liberation. And when they hear from the pure devotee, then they also become pure devotees. They also want to engage in pure devotional service. Pure devotional service begins from the platform of liberation. It's not that if one engages in pure devotional service, one is not liberated. No, it in fact is the activity on the platform of liberation. Because just coming to liberation, then the question comes up, what do I do? What the spirit soul does? The spirit soul engages in pure devotional service. So it's a higher platform. So association of pure devotees. That there are so many flaws within this miserable life, but the glorious association of pure devotees. Okay.
In Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.37, it is stated that man's fear is due to his material conception of life and his forgetting his eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. Consequently, he finds himself having only perverted memories. This occurs due to spell of material energy. One who has sufficient intelligence will engage in full devotional service and regard the Supreme Lord as his spiritual master and worshipable God. The conclusion is that no one can attain a revolution in consciousness without engaging in devotional service to the Lord. When one is actually free from material contamination, he can fully engage himself in Krishna consciousness.
Again, coming to the same point, that when one is actually free from material contamination, means what? When he's liberated, he's on the liberated platform, then he can engage in pure devotional service, fully engage himself in Krishna consciousness. So we are in the material world. We have forgotten our relationship with Krishna, our eternal relationship. We are thinking we are the body. All our memories, all our intelligences become material now. And that's why we always forget, fearful. We are fearful. We are thinking we are the body. And then, it can be taken from us at any moment. That's what gives us fear. And one who is intelligent will engage in full devotional service and regard the Supreme Lord as his spiritual master and worshipable God. So Bhagavatam states that that a sign of intelligence is one who takes up this devotional service to Krishna. And then what is the conclusion? No one can attain a revolution in consciousness without engaging in devotional service to the Lord. So if we really want to evolve, if we really want our consciousness to evolve, we need to take up hearing and chanting of Krishna. If we don't, then our consciousness will always remain material.
In Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.4, it is clearly said that one who engages in spiritual life to understand things as they are, but who lacks all intentions of engaging in Krishna consciousness, simply achieves trouble for his undertaking. There is no substance to his life. Every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and therefore it is the duty of every living entity to serve that Supreme Whole. Without such service, the living entity falls into material contamination.
So if one, what is it saying? That one who engages in spiritual life to understand things they are, that one simply wants knowledge, but he does not want to understand the truth, does not want to become Krishna conscious, then it's simply a trouble. Why? Because the actual truth is that we are Krishna conscious. But if somebody just keeps saying, no, I just want to have knowledge, I just want to know knowledge. But the real knowledge is that we are Krishna conscious and that our activity is to serve the Supreme Lord. And so that's why it said simply achieves trouble for his undertaking. Is that okay? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Lord Chaitanya concluded his teachings of Sanatana Goswami by pointing out that the 6 kinds of Atma Ramas or transcendentalists engage in some kind of devotional service to Krishna. In 6 kinds of okay, literally. In other words, at some time or another, all transcendentalists ultimately come to understand the necessity of rendering devotional service of Krishna and become fully Krishna consciousness, even if one is very learned or extravagant. he can still engage in devotional service of Lord.
So Lord Chaitanya is telling to Sanatana Goswami that if we at all want to get any success in life, any transcendentalists, all the transcendentalists have to render devotional service, has to come to the point of devotional service. Even if one wants liberation, he needs to take up devotional service to be actually liberated.
The sixth kind of transcendentalists are neophyte transcendentalist, the absorbed transcendentalist, one who is situated in transcendence, one who desires liberation, one who is actually liberated, and one who is engaged in activities in his constitutional position. All these are Atma Ramas. When a person becomes a Atma Rama, or a great thinker in Krishna consciousness, he fully engages in devotional service. According to grammatically rules, there are many kinds of Atma Ramas, but one sense of the word is sufficient to represent the others. In the collective sense, all the Atma Ramas are inclined to worship the Supreme Lord Krishna.
So here Lord Chaitanya is saying the transcendentalists. Also, he said here that there are three kinds: one who is desiring liberation, one who is, and he's repeating the same one who is desiring liberation, one who is actually liberated, and one who is on the transcendental platform. Yeah, so three of them, the three are here. I'm not sure which are the other three. The neophyte, that is the neophyte transcendentalist, the absorbed transcendentalist, and one who is situated in transcendence. I'm not sure of these three. Who are these three? But anyway, Lord Chaitanya is saying that all these Atmarams. So who is really an Atmaram? He is a great thinker in Krishna consciousness, he fully engaged in devotional service. That any kind of transcendentalist, a real transcendentalist, will come to the point of worshipping Krishna. Then he's really a transcendentalist. And that's the point to understand. That even if one is actually situated on the Brahman platform, the Brahmavadi, understanding I'm spirit soul, God is the supreme Brahman, even he comes to devotional service of Krishna. So, because we may think, oh, liberation is the end goal, but here we are hearing that even those who are liberated, they want to engage in Krishna's service.
The mystic who worships the super soul within himself is also an Atmaramas. The Atmarama yogis are two kinds, Shagarbha and Nigarbha. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.2.8. Some yogis meditate within their heart on the localized Vishnu, who is four-handed and who holds four symbols, conch, disc, snake, and lotus. The yogi who thinks of four-handed Vishnu becomes absorbed in devotional ecstasy and shows the symptoms of that state. Sometimes he cries and sometimes he feels separation from the Lord. In this way, he merges in transcendental bliss, resulting in his becoming entrapped like a fish.
So here then Lord Chaitanya is saying the yogis who are searching after the Paramatma, Sagarbha and Nigarbha. I'm not sure what they are. We can read later to see if there's some description. But anyway, who are the yogis meditating on? That's the point. The yogis are not meditating on some void or some light or some nothing or imagining any form. They are meditating on the Paramatma. The object of meditation is the Paramatma. Four-handed Vishnu form. And he holds a conch shell, disc, club, and mace. And of course, the yogi, because he's seeing the Lord, then he gets ecstatic, no? And he's feeling separation because the Lord is all attractive. So, of course, he's feeling this ecstasy. Like how we were hearing of in Kapila Shiksha also, Lord Kapila Dev was telling Devahuti that the yogi, he's always thinking of the Paramatma in the heart, that the object of meditation is the Paramatma, the Vishnu form, not just some void or nothing or zero or some candle. No. Even Kardama Muni, he was meditating on Lord Vishnu in his heart. And the same Lord Vishnu came and stood in front of him and gave him the benediction that he'll come as Kapila Muni. So anyway, are there any questions or comments?
No, all good.
Thank you so much for listening and joining in. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare